Welcome to the podcast. Learn English through life, exploring emotions, connections, and the English language.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Learn English. We're diving into a fascinating question, one that could change your life. Should you quit your stable job to chase your dreams? Is it an inspiring leap of faith or a reckless risk? Take a moment to think about this. What would you do? Would you leave the comfort of a steady paycheck to follow your passion? Or would you choose to stay safe and secure? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences, so don't hesitate to share. To explore this life-changing decision, we have two incredible guests with us today. Trust me, their stories and arguments will keep you hooked until the very end. Our first guest is Lucas, a bold entrepreneur who left his steady job to build his own business empire. He'll share how he turned his passion into a thriving career and why he believes others should consider doing the same. On the other side, we have Sophie, a dedicated advocate for stability. She'll explain why she values consistency and how it has helped her achieve her goals while maintaining a sense of security. So, who's right? Should you take the leap or should you play it safe? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share this podcast with your friends and family. You never know. This discussion might be exactly what someone needs to make a big decision in their own life. Now let's start by learning why Lucas and Sophie chose such different paths. Thank you, Lucas and Sophie, for joining us today. Let's dive straight into the heart of this debate. I'd like to ask you both a simple yet powerful question. What made you choose your path?
Thank you for having me, Michael. My journey started a few years ago when I was working in finance. On paper, I had everything: a great salary, job security, and a clear career path. But deep down, I felt stuck. My job didn't reflect who I was or what I wanted to achieve in life. One day, I decided enough was enough. I took a leap of faith, left my job, and started my own business. It wasn't easy at first, far from it. But now, I run a company that truly aligns with my passions. When I look at people like Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, I see individuals who took incredible risks to follow their dreams. They didn't play it safe, and look where that got them. Their stories are what inspired me to make my move. If I could recommend one book that changed my mindset, it's Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It taught me that success isn't about staying in your comfort zone. It's about taking calculated risks to achieve financial freedom and personal growth. My belief is simple. If you want to build something extraordinary, you must be willing to step outside the ordinary.
Thank you, Lucas. That's such a powerful story. Sophie, what's your perspective on this? Why did you choose a more stable path?
My experience is quite different. I've always believed in the importance of stability, both financially and emotionally. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine left his steady job to start a tech company. He poured his heart and savings into it. But after 2 years, the business failed. He lost not only his money, but also his confidence. Eventually, he had to return to a job with less security than he had before. Watching that unfold taught me a valuable lesson. Chasing your dreams is admirable, but it's not always practical. I value a stable job because it gives me peace of mind. I know my bills will be paid, I can save for the future, and I don't have to deal with the stress of unpredictable income. To me, that's priceless. One book that deeply influenced my outlook is Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. It emphasizes the idea that financial security is a cornerstone of happiness and freedom. In my opinion, a stable job provides the foundation you need to build a balanced and fulfilling life.
Thank you, Sophie, for sharing your story. It's fascinating to see how different experiences can lead to such distinct perspectives. Now, let's dive deeper into the pros and cons of each path. To start, I want to ask both of you this. What are the biggest risks of your approach?
Great question. I firmly believe that taking risks is a necessary part of life. Sure, there's uncertainty, but nothing great is ever achieved without some level of risk. Take Jeff Bezos, for example. He had a lucrative job in investment banking, yet he chose to leave it all behind to start Amazon. At the time, it was just a risky idea, a small online bookstore. Now it's one of the biggest companies in the world. For anyone considering entrepreneurship, I recommend reading The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. It's a fantastic guide to minimizing risks and building something sustainable. Of course, the biggest risk is failure, but in my opinion, failing is better than not trying at all. Every failure teaches you something invaluable.
That's an interesting perspective, Lucas. Sophie, how do you see the risks involved in entrepreneurship versus staying in a stable job?
Thank you, Lucas, for sharing your thoughts. I see things differently. For every Jeff Bezos, there are countless others who try and fail. The statistics don't lie. 90% of startups fail within their first few years. The financial and emotional toll of failure can be devastating. I've seen people drain their savings, max out their credit cards, and lose everything they worked so hard for. That's a risk I'm not willing to take. For me, stability provides a sense of security that's hard to put a price on. In The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley, the author emphasizes that wealth is often built through steady, consistent habits, not high-stakes risks. In my opinion, it's better to grow slowly but surely than to risk losing everything in a single gamble.
Both of you bring up excellent points. It's clear that risks play a huge role in this debate. Let's move on to another important question. How does each path affect quality of life? Lucas, let's start with you. Has being an entrepreneur improved your quality of life?
Absolutely. One of the biggest advantages of entrepreneurship is freedom. I'm my own boss. I decide when I work, how I work, and who I work with. That flexibility has given me more time to focus on the things that truly matter to me, like spending time with my family. I know an entrepreneur who used to work 60-hour weeks in a corporate job. After starting his own business, he now works 30 hours a week and earns double what he used to. Studies also show that entrepreneurs report higher levels of satisfaction compared to employees in traditional jobs. When you're building something you love, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like a purpose.
That's inspiring, Lucas. But Sophie, what's your take? Does stability offer a better quality of life?
I appreciate Lucas's perspective, but I have to disagree. The so-called freedom of entrepreneurship often comes with a heavy price, stress and instability. Many entrepreneurs work longer hours than employees, especially in the beginning. I've seen people working 70-hour weeks, barely making ends meet. The financial uncertainty can take a huge toll on mental health and relationships. On the other hand, a stable job offers predictability. You know how much you're earning, you have benefits like health insurance, and you can plan for the future without constant worry. For me, that peace of mind is priceless.
You both bring up compelling arguments. Let's take a moment to dig deeper into this idea of work-life balance. Lucas, how do you handle the pressure and uncertainty of being your own boss?
That's a great question. Yes, there's pressure, especially in the early days, but I believe that with the right mindset and tools, you can manage it. One thing that helps me is setting clear boundaries. I don't work past a certain time, and I make sure to take breaks. I also focus on building passive income streams within my business, so I'm not constantly chasing money. And let's not forget the reward. When you succeed, the payoff is far greater than any stable job could offer.
But Lucas, doesn't that constant need to innovate and grow add to your stress? For some people, that level of pressure isn't sustainable. A stable job might not make you rich, but it provides consistency and peace of mind.
It seems like we're circling back to the core question, what's more important, freedom or security? Thank you both for sharing your thoughts so far. Now, I'd like us to dive a little deeper and directly address some of the challenges you've brought up. Let's get into the heart of the debate. Lucas, Sophie brought up an important point earlier. Most startups fail. In fact, the statistics show that nearly 90% of startups don't make it past their first few years. What's your response to that?
That's a great question, and it's true, many startups do fail. But I don't see failure as something to fear. In fact, I believe that failure is one of life's best teachers. Every time you fail, you learn something valuable that gets you closer to success. Take the book Grit by Angela Duckworth, for example. It emphasizes that success isn't about talent or luck, it's about perseverance. The most successful entrepreneurs are the ones who keep going, even after multiple failures. If we let the fear of failure stop us, we'd never try anything new. And without trying, how can we achieve anything great? Yes, failure is possible, but isn't it more painful to look back and wonder what could have been?
That's a compelling argument, Lucas. But Sophie, let me ask you this. What would you say to someone who feels trapped in their stable job, someone who dreams of doing something more meaningful but is afraid to take the leap?
Thank you, Lucas, for your perspective. It's inspiring. But let me share my take on this. To anyone who feels stuck in their job, I would say this. You don't need to quit your job to find meaning in your life. Sometimes the answer isn't to leave. It's to change how you approach your current situation. For example, you could look for growth opportunities within your role, take on new challenges, or start a passion project on the side. That way, you're building towards something meaningful without putting your financial stability at risk. In The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, the author highlights how financial stability is a cornerstone of happiness. Taking big risks can be exciting, but for many people, the stress of uncertainty outweighs the potential rewards. So, my advice would be to find fulfillment without risking everything. These are great points from both of you. But let me ask this. Do you think it's possible to combine both approaches? Lucas, can someone pursue entrepreneurship while still maintaining some level of stability? And Sophie, could someone in a stable job take small calculated risks to move closer to their dreams?
Absolutely. In fact, I always recommend starting small. You don't have to quit your job right away. You can begin by working on your business idea during evenings or weekends. For example, many successful entrepreneurs started as part-timers. They built their businesses gradually until they were confident enough to make the full leap. This reduces the risk and gives you time to learn. So yes, you can balance both, at least at the start. But eventually, if you want to go big, you'll need to take that leap of faith.
I agree that it's possible to take small, calculated risks. For instance, you can invest in professional development, learn new skills, or save up a financial cushion before making any big decisions. However, I still believe that for most people, the security of a stable job provides the foundation for these small experiments. You can dream big while staying grounded.
Thank you, Lucas and Sophie. This discussion shows that there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Success, fulfillment, and security mean different things to different people. For our listeners and viewers, what do you think? Are you more like Lucas, ready to take risks, or do you relate more to Sophie's balanced approach? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. To add even more depth to this topic, I'd like to share two real-life stories that show both sides of the coin, one of incredible success and the other of painful failure. These stories are meant to help our listeners reflect on the possibilities and risks of choosing either path. First, let me tell you about Sarah. She was a high school teacher who had a steady job and a stable income, but deep down, she always dreamed of starting her own clothing brand. One day, she decided to take a leap of faith. She quit her job and used her savings to launch her business. It wasn't easy at first. She faced many challenges and doubted herself along the way. But through perseverance and passion, Sarah succeeded. Today, she runs a thriving clothing brand, employs 15 people, and earns 3 times what she used to make as a teacher. Sarah's story is a testament to the rewards that come with taking risks and following your dreams. Lucas, what's your reaction to Sarah's story? Does it resonate with your own experience?
Absolutely. Sarah's story is the perfect example of what's possible when you believe in yourself and take calculated risks. Sure, the journey isn't easy. It takes hard work, determination, and a willingness to fail before you succeed. But Sarah proves that if you stay committed, the rewards can be life-changing. Her story reminds me of something I often say. The biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. If she had stayed in her teaching job, she would never have discovered her true potential.
Now, let me share the story of David, who had a very different experience. David was a software engineer with a well-paying job, but like Sarah, he dreamed of starting his own business. He decided to quit his job and opened a small cafe in his hometown. At first, everything seemed to go well, but soon things started to fall apart. He underestimated the competition, mismanaged his finances, and struggled to attract enough customers. After 2 years, David had to close his cafe. He lost all his savings and ended up moving back in with his parents to recover financially and emotionally. David's story is a reminder that not every risk leads to success, and sometimes the consequences can be severe. Sophie, what's your take on David's experience? Do you think his failure could have been avoided?
David's story is heartbreaking, but unfortunately, it's not uncommon. Starting a business without fully understanding the risks can lead to situations like this. In my opinion, his failure could have been avoided if he had taken a more cautious approach. For example, he could have started his cafe as a side project while keeping his engineering job. That way, he would have had a safety net if things didn't work out. David's story highlights why I value stability so much. While taking risks can lead to success, it's equally important to have a solid plan and avoid gambling everything you've built.
These two stories are so different, yet they both offer valuable lessons. Lucas, do you think David could have succeeded with a different mindset or strategy? And Sophie, do you think Sarah's success is an exception, or do you believe more people could achieve similar results?
I think David's story shows the importance of preparation. Entrepreneurship isn't just about passion. It's also about planning, learning, and adapting. If David had done more research, sought mentorship, or built a financial buffer, his outcome might have been different. That's why I always recommend books like The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. It teaches you how to test your ideas and minimize risks before going all in. Sarah's success, on the other hand, proves that taking risks can pay off. I believe many people could achieve similar results if they're willing to put in the effort and embrace the challenges.
While Sarah's story is inspiring, I do think her success is more of an exception than the rule. For every Sarah, there are countless Davids who face challenges they weren't prepared for. That's why I advocate for a balanced approach, taking small, calculated steps rather than diving headfirst into the unknown. It's not about avoiding risks altogether, it's about managing them wisely.
We've had such an engaging discussion today, hearing different perspectives from Lucas and Sophie, as well as real-life stories of success and failure. Before we wrap up, I'd like each of you to share some practical advice for our listeners who may be struggling with this decision. Lucas, let's start with you. What advice would you give to someone considering leaving their job to pursue their dreams?
Thank you. My biggest piece of advice is this: prepare before you leap. Build a safety net. Save at least 6 months' worth of expenses before quitting your job. This will give you the financial security to focus on your business without constant stress about money. Educate yourself. Take time to learn about entrepreneurship, financial management, and the industry you're entering. Knowledge is power, and it can save you from costly mistakes. Start small. You don't have to go all in right away. Test your idea on the side, whether it's a weekend project or a small online shop, and see how it performs before fully committing. One book I highly recommend is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It teaches you how to build small, consistent habits that lead to big results over time. Whether you're saving money or developing skills, this approach can help you stay focused and make steady progress. Remember, entrepreneurship is a journey, not a race. Take your time and don't be afraid to fail. It's all part of the process.
That's excellent advice, Lucas. Thank you for breaking it down so clearly. Sophie, what advice do you have for those who prefer to stay in their stable job but still want to grow and find fulfillment?
Thank you, Lucas, for your thoughtful advice. For those who value stability, my message is simple. You can grow within your current role without taking unnecessary risks. Invest in yourself. Focus on learning new skills, taking certifications, or attending workshops that can make you more valuable in your current job. Growth doesn't always mean leaving. It can mean becoming better where you are. Learn to manage your money wisely. Start investing a portion of your income. Even small amounts can grow significantly over time. One book I recommend is The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. It's a great resource for learning how to make smart financial decisions, even if you're not a professional investor. Negotiate for what you deserve. Don't be afraid to ask for a promotion, a raise, or additional responsibilities that align with your passions. Stability doesn't have to mean stagnation. In my view, success is about balance. You can dream big while still enjoying the peace of mind that comes with a secure foundation.
Thank you, Sophie. Your advice shows that stability doesn't mean standing still. It means finding ways to grow safely and sustainably. To sum up, here are some key takeaways from today's discussion. If you're considering leaving your job, Lucas recommends saving 6 months' worth of expenses, starting small and testing your ideas, building consistent habits for long-term success. If you prefer stability, Sophie suggests investing in your skills and financial future, seeking growth within your current role, balancing ambition with security. No matter which path you choose, success is possible as long as you approach it with the right mindset and preparation. What a fantastic discussion we've had today. We explored 2 very different paths, the bold leap into entrepreneurship and the steady road of stability. But both Lucas and Sophie have shared valuable insights, and I hope their perspectives have helped you think about your own journey. To summarize, Lucas reminded us that taking risks can lead to incredible rewards, but preparation and perseverance are key to navigating the challenges. Sophie highlighted the importance of stability as a foundation for personal growth and financial security, showing that success doesn't always require risking at all. Ultimately, there's no right or wrong choice. It's about what works best for your life, your goals, and your circumstances. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, don't forget to like this video to show your support, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future discussions, and of course, share this episode with someone who could benefit from it. Your participation means the world to us, and we can't wait to continue this conversation with you in the comments. Thank you for joining us today on this journey of exploration and growth. No matter which path you choose, remember, the most important thing is to stay true to yourself and your dreams. Until next time, take care and keep learning.